Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy James, and this is a dad's thing. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. Please like, subscribe, hit those notification bells so you won't miss an episode. And if you are a friend of the family, you know who you are. Really appreciate all your support. Today is Monday, and as I shared with you all yesterday, I'm done with my vacation, which was great, and now I'm back into the office and got a little head start on Sunday and Saturday. Took just a quick look at some emails and things like that so I can just clear the inbox a little bit and get myself organized. So once I got online today, I wouldn't be, just thrown off with a ton of emails. So glad I did that. But just wanted to share today on vlog number 28. Yes, vlog 28 of 50 vlogs in 50 days. You know how we do. I'm working up to my 50th birthday, which is knocking on the door right around the corner. But today in work, I was really reminded of something that I've always thought about in regards to, being a social worker. This job is a job where you're working with human beings. You're working with individuals that, may have their backs up against the wall, needing a breakthrough. Some people might say, I'm looking for a miracle, and that miracle is you. And I really understand the atmosphere that I've been placed in and been blessed and honored to be able to do since 2000. I got into the social work field working with young men connected to the juvenile justice system, wards of the court, physically custody taken away from their families, and they've done time in juvenile hall. And what would come to be is they would come to a facility that I managed, called them group homes, but a residential setting, get them out of juvenile hall and get them back into school, get them doing all the things that young people should be doing at their age. And our specialty at that facility was drugs and alcohol. So we really wanted to mentor these young men and help them on their path of breaking cycles. We would say breaking cycles of addictive personalities. While I would not claim that these young men were addicted to drugs or alcohol at such an early age, most of them just got into trouble. And I don't say just, but may have been drinking and, maybe smoking a little bit of weed or something of that nature and got in some trouble while engaged in that act, and unfortunately received that label. Some of them may have been a little bit further along, in their substance use and abuse. So, we've had those occasions as well. But, one of the things that I learned with working with that population is I didn't want to label anyone anything. Labels can be very, very damaging, especially when you're so young. And I kind of talked a little bit about some of the difficulties and struggles I had earlier, in my life as a result of these false labels being placed on me, and then the work that I had to do to overcome it with the help of so many great people. But in my position back then, literally, I had people's freedom in my hand. I can walk into a juvenile hall where kids lined up in their, unfortunately, cells, wanting to get out. Hey, take me. I want to go to your program. I'm ready to do this. And would have to interview the kids that I was there to interview and really make an assessment based off of some paperwork that I read in this interview as to whether or not they were ready to be a participant in our program. Would they fit in with the other young men of the program? Would they be a good fit? So a really, really big decision would have to be made off of short interviews, paperwork that have been read. And again, freedom given to these young men in a lot of instances. But then on the flip side, just as easily as they can come into our program, decisions would have to be made whether or not they needed to stay or they needed to return back to juvenile hall based off of bad behavior, based off of not wanting to do the things that they would need to do to rehabilitate themselves. And I would later learn that it wasn't a rehabilitation process with these young men, but it was more of a habilitating process that we were going through, because they were learning things for the very first time. It wasn't like they knew a lot of things, had lots of skills that had come from a lot of these young men, very difficult situations. So they were just trying to survive. So we were teaching these young men, most of them for the very first time, on how to do the right thing when no one was looking, because it was the right thing to do. And also, and most importantly, is to love yourself, right? Love yourself enough to give yourself the best opportunities that life were offering to you and in front of you. So I say that because I wanted to give just a little bit of perspective as I was doing my work today. And my work is still revolved around that same idea of helping people in their greatest times of need and giving them different opportunities. But folks also have to meet certain requirements. We can't say yes to everyone, and our program is not for everyone. And that can be hard to receive that information if you're on the other side of it. And even though I know everyone can't have a place in this program based off of not enough spaces, but based off of meeting certain requirements, it's still difficult for me. And I have this test that I always tell people, especially young people who are looking to get in this field. I always tell them, if I'm at the point where I'm making decisions just because decisions have to be made, and I'm not looking at an individual and having compassion for that individual that's reaching out for assistance and help, I have to find another job to do if I can't be that compassionate person. Today, first day back at work, I was faced with having to give someone in need some very, very bad news. That their application would not be moving forward with us. Their request for an appeal would not be granted. And that hurt. And as I was sitting down writing this letter that I needed to deliver to this individual and drafting an email, I was just reading it, and it was so matter of fact. And I had to put myself through the test. I had to pinch myself. And I felt good that I was able to remember the test, and that I actually put myself through the test, and that I took a minute and paused and thought about the individual that will be on the other side of this email, that will be on the other side of this letter that I will be writing, and tried to put myself in their shoes. And when I did that, the tone of the email changed. The tone of the letter changed. And my hopes is that individual on the other side has a very, very clear understanding of why this decision had to be made. But I also wanted them to know that I and my team are still here to provide some support in helping them find the type of housing situation that they would best be suited for based on the needs that they have. So it really, day one, it never stops. The toughness of life is a second away, I'm a football guy, and they say you're a play away, from a different outcome. It's a game of inches, and those are only games. I'm talking about having to deal with a human being in their life at their greatest time of need. So I'm thankful that I'm still there where I need to be. I'm passing those tests that I tell these young social workers coming into the field that are so important. If you don't care for people, if you're not kind to people, if you can't feel a little bit of what that individual on the other side that's looking to you for help for, you got to reevaluate what you're doing. You got to reevaluate what you're doing. So today was a hard day, but I used the skills that I've gained over the years to help me get through it, and hopefully someone else on the other side of the work that I do get through as well. So it was a deep one today, I would imagine, to hear, as it was a deep one for me. But hopefully, in your interactions from day to day, you'll remember just a little bit of this. You never know what somebody else is going through. Kindness goes a long way. And you want to be that person that's being kind, because you never know when you're going to need that kindness returned to you. So as always, God bless. Be good. Take care. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.